Colonial History of Chad and the Struggle for Independence. Nestled in the heart of Central Africa, Chad is one of the continent's most ethnically diverse and historically complex nations. But behind its vast deserts and rich cultural heritage lies a story of colonial domination, resistance, and the long struggle for self-determination. In this video, we'll explore the colonial history of Chad, examine how class dynamics shaped the struggle for independence, and highlight the often overlooked contributions of women, youths, and ordinary people in the fight against imperialism. French colonial rule begins. Chad was formally colonized by France in 1900, after decades of military expeditions. The French saw Chad as part of their larger imperial project in Africa, a source of raw materials and cheap labor. Under colonial rule, the French imposed heavy taxes, forced labor, and a system of racial hierarchy that privileged European settlers and collaborators, while exploiting the indigenous population. Economic exploitation and class divisions. The colonial economy was built on class exploitation. At the top were the French administrators and a small local elite who collaborated with them. Below them were the working class, farmers, herders, miners whose labor was extracted without fair compensation. These economic conditions laid the groundwork for widespread discontent among the lower classes, especially among rural workers and urban laborers, who bore the brunt of colonial oppression. Rise of nationalist movements. By the mid-20th century, nationalist movements began to emerge across French Equatorial Africa. In Chad, early political groups like the Chadian Progressive Party, PPT, started organizing workers, students, and civil servants around demands for autonomy and dignity. Unlike some other African liberation movements, Chad's struggle was deeply rooted in popular mobilization, driven not just by intellectuals and elites, but by everyday people fighting for better living conditions. Role of women. Women played a crucial role in the anti-colonial struggle, though their contributions are often erased from mainstream narratives. They organized boycotts, supported underground networks, and sustained families during periods of repression. In cities like N'Djamena, women led protests against high prices and conscription. In rural areas, they preserved cultural identity and passed down resistance traditions through oral histories. Youth and students. Youths and students became a powerful force in the independence movement. Inspired by Pan-Africanism and global decolonization trends, Chadian students abroad, particularly in France and other parts of West Africa, formed activist groups and smuggled revolutionary ideas back home. Within Chad, young teachers, clerks, and apprentices joined trade unions and participated in strikes that disrupted colonial administration. Ordinary people and resistance. Beyond formal political parties, ordinary people, farmers, pastoralists, and market vendors resisted colonial rule in countless ways. Some refused to pay taxes or work on colonial projects. Others hid activists, shared intelligence, or simply maintained community solidarity in the face of divide and rule tactics. Their quiet defiance kept the spirit of resistance alive even when overt political activity was suppressed. Path to independence. On August 11, 1960, Chad officially gained independence from France. François Tombalbaye became the first president, marking the end of formal colonial rule. But true freedom was more complex than the date suggests. The post-independence government inherited a deeply unequal society, where class divisions persisted under new rulers. Many of the same elites who had benefited from colonialism retained power, leaving many ordinary citizens still struggling for real change. Legacy of the struggle. The legacy of Chad's independence struggle is mixed. While formal colonialism ended, the class inequalities it entrenched did not disappear overnight. However, the courage of women, youth, and ordinary people who stood up against the empire remains a vital part of Chad's national memory. Understanding this history through a class lens reminds us that liberation is not only about political sovereignty, but also about economic justice and social transformation. From the villages of the south to the deserts of the north, the people of Chad have always fought for dignity and self-determination. Their story is not just one of the past, it continues to shape the future of the nation today. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through Chad's untold history. Drop your comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as we continue to explore the stories that shaped Africa's past and future. Together, let's celebrate the legacies that define us. Until next time, stay critical and keep questioning.